Greetings and welcome back to another harmoniously pitch perfect episode of the Vodkast. I'm your host as always, Jason Oliveira, and I have a very rare treat for you today. It's not very often that I get to sit down one-on-one with a lifelong friend like Mr. Bob Melanson, who is here with us today. You might know him as BB. He's a sound engineer, he is an amazing father, he is a baseball enthusiast, and he is one of the greatest musicians I have ever met or had the honor to play with in my entire life. He's here tonight to talk about his musical journey, but before we get started, Bob, if you need any help with your lights, they're not great, so just let me know. Reach out, and I'm here for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. BB Melanson. How are you doing, BB?
I'm good. Thank you, Jay. Glad to be on.
Bob, it's wonderful to have you on the show tonight. And for those of you who don't know, Bob is a lifelong friend of mine that I met when I was around 16. At about that time, I decided I want to learn how to play guitar. Bob was definitely a huge influence on that decision. And in my early years, I turned to him, and he was technically my first teacher. He is my Jedi Master, and I am his Padawan learner. And from the early years of playing in Massachusetts with the Mudd Puppies, moving to Utah and playing with some bands out there, now you're in Temecula, California. Your road has taken you from coast to coast. Your career has done the same. What are some of the highlights? Who are some of the people you play with that you remember the most?
I got to work with a lot of really good people. I got to work with my drummer friend, Mike Levesque. That's one of my highlights of all time for musicians that I've worked with. He is an exceptional drummer, exceptional musician, great producer. And I was very, very lucky to have his friendship and be able to play with him. It was awesome. He's awesome.
Actually, I have to thank Mike Levesque as well. There was a night that I called up his roommate, Scott, at the time. I needed a place to crash, and he was out of town. He was on tour or something like that. So I actually ended up sleeping in his bed that night. So I just want to send a shout out and a huge thank you to Mike Levesque. I don't know if you ever know that I slept in your bed, but I did. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. He put me in the fire and a lot of things, like just threw me right in. And he had a lot of faith in me, and I really appreciated that. And a lot of my experience, I think, that I've had since then, I owe a bit to him. And what the opportunities he included me in. We got to do a lot of studio stuff. So learning how to be in the studio, he gave me a masterclass. Those situations that he put me in gave me a masterclass in studio recording, and it was really good. You mentioned Scott. Played with Scott and used to do sound for Blair's Carriage for a bunch of gigs, and that was a great band. They stopped playing, and then Ricky and Brendan and Kenny got Wheat going. Yeah.
Kenny was actually playing with my band Lunch Meat Circus at the time, right as he left to go play with Wheat, which was obviously a very wise decision on his part. Kenny's a great guy. If you're out there, Kenny, and you see this, reach out to me. I'd love to get back in touch with you. Well,
actually, right before Wheat, me, Scott, and Mike Levesque.
Oh, New Stars of the American Road.
New Stars of the American Road. That was a great band, man. Mm-hmm. We had a gig somewhere on Berkeley campus or near it or something. It was some performance arts center near Berkeley or in Berkeley. And we played this gig there, and it was great, man. We played a lot of the songs that became Wheat songs. So they were a little more energetic in a different way than they were with Wheat. It was really a lot of fun. That's another highlight. I really enjoyed that band. Yeah, and played with him in Wheat in support of Hope and Adams and their
second
upcoming their upcoming album after that. And that was a lot of fun. We played a lot of tracks from the new album.
Did you record on that album too, or were you just touring with them on that album?
Nope, just toured with them. Had some really great touring experiences with them. really big shows, man. Glastonbury Music Festival, huge festival in England.
Flamin' Lips?
With the Flamin' Lips, yeah. I think Radiohead, David Bowie, Nine Inch Nails, Oasis. I remember standing on the side of Oasis after our set, and we're all just standing there watching this performance go on. And you look out, and there's just an ocean of people out there. It was crazy. It was really quite an experience.
Would you say that that's definitely one of the highlights, one of the pinnacle moments of your musical career?
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, for sure. One of them. It was a little bummer for me because it was the end of the tour. I was excited to go back home. That was nice. But it was a little bummer because I was getting ready to go back to Massachusetts and record with Wheat. I thought that's what the plan was, but they decided, and maybe it was because of their publishing deal, that they just wanted to do an album with the three remaining, like Kenny had left.
Yeah.
The three remaining guys, which I get. I was just ready to record.
That's a bummer. That would have been fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when it was sitting on the side of the stage watching Oasis. That's when it was dropped on me that that's what the plan was. But I mean, it wasn't my band. I was there to support. So
now you had some not so great experiences with touring with Wheat as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Had a very interesting moment. We just played Stockholm, Sweden, or I forget the name of the place, Gothenburg or something like that. It was basically an island in Stockholm. Anyways, we played Stockholm, Sweden, got done with the gig, got in the van we were driving around in, and it was late, probably passed out. And the bus stopped halfway in between Oslo and Norway to get fuel, to refuel. So we felt the bus stop, and some of us got out. And when you get out of the bus, you're supposed to take your backpack with you so they know, oh, someone's backpack's missing. They must be inside. So I took my backpack. I'm in my flannel pajama pants, probably flip-flops or, something not appropriate. It's winter. It's 30 degrees out. And a t-shirt and my backpack. So I go in, I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and come back out, and I'm like, oh, you know what? We ran out of peanut butter last night. Let me get some of that, and I'll get some jelly and Cokes. We were drinking Cokes, so let me get some Cokes. And I go back on the bus and put my backpack down, put the stuff down, maybe put it away. I don't remember. And I might have mistold this a little bit. Then I remembered, oh, we need peanut butter or something. Okay. So I go back in. I left my backpack on the bus. So we go back in. I go back in, and I grab the peanut butter, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great. Now we have peanut butter for our ride. And I go back outside, and they're gone. This is, pre everyone has a cell phone. So I just waited around. I stood in between a big Coke display on the floor and a postcard rack for about 4 hours until they got to the venue and realized, oh, where's Bob? I think I remember Ricky telling me a story. He's like, where's Bob? Oh, he's kind of quiet back there because I snore, or I used to. I don't know if I still do. He's kind of quiet back there. Oh, go check on him. Wake him up. We got to load in. And he opens the curtain for the bunk, and I wasn't there. Yeah. So then the driver was mindful enough to keep the receipt for fuel and called the number on the receipt. Hey, is there an American standing there? in his pajamas. I don't know what he said.
Yeah.
And the person that answered the phone looks at me and says, "American?" And I said, "Yeah." Gave me the phone. So I said, yeah, I'm here. You guys took off without me. I forgot my thing on the bus. So thank goodness the promoter for the shows was traveling from Stockholm to Oslo, and he was able to pick me up along the way, which is great. The bad thing is he was in an MG, which is a little tiny convertible car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 30 degrees out, and the top didn't work. So it was just stuck down.
Oh my God. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. No, and I'm in my t-shirts, my flannel pants, and just not prepared for a 4-hour journey in the freezing cold. So he had an extra jacket, or maybe he let me use his jacket for the ride, which helped tremendously. But wow, man, that was brutal. That was brutal. Yeah, it might have been 3 hours, 3.5 hours, but it felt like 8.
Yeah, I imagine it would. Yeah.
So I got to the venue, and just in time for sound check. I couldn't feel my hands. Ricky helped set up my equipment and stuff. So yeah, and we played the show, and everything went swimmingly after. Don't forget your backpack, kids.
After discovering you weren't going to be recording with Wheat, who did you find to play with before you left to Massachusetts?
In Massachusetts, I was playing with a lot of people, a lot of bands, but the biggest influences on me were my friend Todd Duarte. He's just an exceptional musician, amazing guitar player, and just as equally amazing singer. His taste in music is awesome. He rubbed off a lot on me. So yeah, shout out to Todd Duarte and Taiwan On. That was the name of the band. And we had another band with me, Todd, and Mike Levesque, Cluster Funk, and that was a lot of fun. Another good friend out there, Peter Montgomery. He was the lead singer, songwriter, guitar player of the band The Irresponsibles, and I played a bunch of shows with the Irresponsibles as the Irresponsibles, and Mike was in that band too, and really good musicians, like really good guitar player in the Montgomerys, Tony Savarino, just phenomenal guitar player and hell of a guy. He's so funny. And Andrew on the keys. It was just a great band. Great experience. Really good songwriting. Really good songs. And it let me open up my bass playing plenty. It was really nice. There's a lot more that I could go into, but it would take forever. It would take forever.
So you got married, you left Massachusetts. How does that story go exactly?
Well, I left Massachusetts when I was 21, moved to San Diego, met the love of my life, who ended up being my wife. And then we moved back to Massachusetts for about 5 years, something like that. And then we moved to Utah.
And you were there for 15 years?
Yep.
What were you doing musically during that time?
Well, I had a lot of fun musically. I got there and I immediately started playing with this band, Blues on First. Incredible musicians. Drummer Fred Marson, just unbelievable drummer. All these guys ended up being good friends. Nick Greco, great blues singer. He's toured the world a bunch of times, and he's excellent. I can't wait to hear him do his next thing, tribute to Elmore James. It's going to be really nice. Paul Blandford, guitar player. He's awesome. I try to visit him anytime I'm back in Utah. Mike Ricks, bass player. So in Blues on First, I played bass originally. And then a couple of years in, maybe a bunch of years in, I switched over to drums. And we had Mike Ricks come in and play bass. And he's a great bass player too, great guy. Did a lot of sound gigs with Mike. And he's a good friend. after moving there, very soon after, there was a band called the Legendary Porch Pounders, and it was Bad Brad Wheeler on harmonica, and ended up playing some lap steel guitar, and Danny Weldon, who I ended up playing in a couple of different iterations with, and he is the real deal, man. Danny Weldon is one of the best musicians I know. He's a fantastic singer, fantastic guitar player, builds his own guitars, has beautiful taste and tone, and had a lot of faith in my playing, both on bass and drums. I played bass and drums with him too. And playing with him, I got to grow as a player and as a person playing with him too. Danny Weldon, you got to check him out. He's fantastic. Daniel Weldon, and he has a new band too. You might want to talk to him because he's really a special person. My friend Zach Parrish he's a blues guitar player, plays with his thumb and his fingers, really traditional sounding guitar player, really tasteful stuff. If any blues players know what a boogie is, he can boogie, man. The guy is just awesome. I love playing with Zach. And I played both bass and drums with Zach in different iterations. Yeah. And fantastic blues scene altogether in Salt Lake City, Utah. My friend of a long time, Gary Tata, he's a guitar player, tremendous guitar player. And he eventually started singing, and he's fronting his own bands, and he sounds amazing too. He hosts the longest running blues jam in Utah, and he's a funny character. He's a good dude. Yeah, lots of friends in Utah.
As hard as it must have been to know that you were leaving a place that you'd been for 15 years, you'd grown familiar with, you've played with musicians that you knew well, played well with, you had to have also been excited to get back out to the West Coast and start that all anew, the whole process again. How did that whole process go when you finally got back out to Temecula?
Okay, this is a tough start because we moved during the pandemic, not before or after. We moved during the pandemic. So things in Utah were closed and being safe, and things in California were closed and being safe. So it was really tough to imagine showing up in a new town, going to the blues jam that, all the heavies go to, and being able to meet people to play with and make some friends. It wasn't like that, when blues jams eventually came back much later. It was bring your own mic. I don't remember ever having to bring a mic to a blues jam before. There's a mic there, and you get on the mic if you're singing the song. It's a different world now. So it was really tough. I would say there was probably 2 or 3 years there that the only music playing I did was on a piano in my studio. That was probably about it.
During that downtime, did you ever consider writing a solo album?
No, I keep on, like, Danny constantly asks me, why aren't I doing that? Why aren't you writing songs? And I'll tell you right now, I know why. It has to do with fear. I'm not fully aware of the fear. Here's the excuse, right? I picture myself as an accompanist, and there's some songs I can get up there and sing, and I do it at blues jams and stuff, and I get some compliments from people, and thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. You should sing more. You have a great voice, and I get it, and I appreciate it. I just don't hear what they're hearing, and I'm not comfortable. So that's where the fear. You probably grow more when you're out of your comfort zone, which I should embrace more, and I'm trying to embrace more. But yeah, I haven't written any songs. I have no catalog. I should break out of the comfort zone and start writing down some stuff, because I'm fully capable of doing that stuff. But I'm also very happy accompanying people.
Well, you've certainly accompanied a lot of musicians since the end of the pandemic. So here you are, it's at the end, things are starting to open up again, the restrictions are starting to loosen up a bit. What's that story for you?
So things start opening up. I end up going to some blues jams and meeting some people, but they were very infrequent, and really very infrequent. There wasn't an every week blues jam at this place. It was like, within these 3 months, there's one blues jam in Orange County or something. So I didn't have much luck the first year or two after the pandemic. And I just would work, do other stuff, doing sound. And then I got the itch again to get out there and start meeting people and making some friends. And there was a blues jam in Vista, and I went out and I met this drummer, Neil Nunziato. He's a New Yorker. He's a hilarious guy, really good guy, good friend. And since I met him that one day, we've talked a lot about, hey, what do we want to do? And right from the beginning, we were on the same page about a lot of things. So we're kind of lockstep right now, getting something going, and we just got a new band going, like about a week ago. Maybe not even a week ago. So Neil, drummer, fantastic guy, fantastic drummer. We sound great together, very complimentary. For a rhythm section, you need it, so it's right there. It's great. He ended up reaching out to some people, talking to some people, showing up places, and he met this guy, Rob LaMonica, who's a keyboard player, fantastic award-winning keyboard player. He's amazing. I think maybe Rob put him in touch with the guitar player, Jimmy Woodward. He's from Texas. Jimmy's been a staple in the San Diego blues scene for 50 years. Had a band, the Swinging Kings, Backwater Blues Band, has backed up a lot of other bands. And he's been just doing exactly what we're trying to do. And he reached out to him and said, hey, I have a space. I want to play with you with my friend BB on bass. I'll play drums and you play guitar. Give us a couple of songs you want to do. And he sent some songs, and we showed up at the rehearsal, and it sounded like we were playing together forever. It sounded like we were playing together for 30 years. It sounded great. So things quickly escalated, and we have a whole night's worth of tunes already, and ready to go, and more. We have like a whole nother night worth of tunes waiting in the wings. It's amazing. It's great. So Rob booked us a show February 8th at Coomber Craft Wines in Oceanside, California. Great little room. They have touring bands coming through all the time. They have entertainment 7 nights a week. It's a great room, and the people that own it are really fantastic people. Coomber Craft Wines in Oceanside. Check it out.
Unfortunately, not a sponsor.
They are great. And Rob booked us in there on a date with the intention of, hey, when we have a touring musician coming through that needs a rhythm section or a band or whatever, I'm going to call you guys. So that's really cool. I appreciate that very much. And that's exactly the type of gig that I love to do. House band type of gig. Awesome. It's really cool. Yeah. So Lucky Dogs, that's the name of that new band, new endeavor.
And if you're looking for them out on Facebook, you'll find them at Lucky Dogs Blues. If you're on Instagram, they are at Lucky Dogs Music.
Yeah, that's great. It's been really cool. And going out, and even when we don't get together and rehearse, me and Neil have gone out to another blues jam in San Diego at the Prohibition in San Diego. It's a really cool room, really intimate setting. And Chicken Bone Slim is the host of that blues jam, and he gets us up there and we get to play with some people. It's really good. Carrie Zavala from Zavala Soul is also a host for that blues jam, and she's great. You should definitely check out those bands: Chicken Bone Slim, Zavala Soul, and check out Lucky Dogs, and also check out my friend Tony Holiday. He's a transplant out here just for the winter. He's out here when he's not touring. This is his downtime where he's not gigging. And Tony Holiday, excellent musician. I got to hang out with him a couple of times since he lives so close to me right here, and I just recently found this out. But he's getting ready to start touring very soon. Like, he might be on a plane today, maybe on a plane back in 2 days to record, then heading out again to tour. But definitely catch him. Anyone that's watching this video, definitely catch him. He's all over the place, all over the country. He's been a really nice voice to listen to, just talking to me and kind of opening up the way that I think. With fear, being out of my comfort zone, he's another one of those people that is all for me, breaking out of my comfort zone. And it's been really special talking to him. And hopefully it ends up leading to us hanging out more. He asked if I'd be interested in touring some dates with him. And yeah, he's amazing. And his music is right up my alley. It's exactly what I like to do. So that would be a lot of fun too. So Tony Holiday, check him out. Tony Holiday. A couple of years ago, I was playing with, and recently too, playing with my friend Corey Clark. He's a singer. He's a great singer. He was a finalist on American Idol season 2. Mm-hmm. A lot of people might remember him. Corey Clark. Great singer, great friend. I really appreciate the gigs I have with him and Honeybee, his manager. We did a residency in downtown Temecula, Old Town Temecula, and that was a lot of fun. I was playing drums at the time, and have since switched over to bass. Yeah, we're doing some cool stuff. It's a lot of pop, a lot of things to get asses shaken, so it's really cool. I enjoy playing with Corey.
I have one more question before I let you go for the night. When I met you, you were primarily a guitarist. You were playing guitar for the Mudd Puppies. I knew you played drums, and before I knew it, you were playing bass. I can't remember who you were playing. Maybe it was the Union, I think, the first band I saw you play bass in. This is going to be a tough one. Gun to your head. If you could only play one instrument for the rest of your life, which one would you choose and why?
It would be bass.
Yeah.
Just because it's nice to be out of your comfort zone for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And other instruments are out of my comfort zone, and sometimes good things result from that. But gun to my head, it would be bass. Yeah. I am comfortable on bass. I am naturally an accompanist. I like being one half of a rhythm section. I like the responsibilities involved. Mm. So bass, and then I can do backups too. So a bass with backups is pretty valuable. Yeah. I find bass players with backups really valuable.
Mm. Well, you got a great voice, Bob. Come on. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you very much, Bob, for taking the time to have this conversation here tonight. Is there anything else you want to share with the people before we let them get back to their daily lives?
No, just thank you very much for taking the time and having this platform. This is really cool. I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you, and I want to thank you very much for the support you've always showed the channel. Back in the early road to 40 days, when I was doing things when I didn't know what I was doing, Bob stepped up and he sent me the Snowball microphone, so at least my audio would be acceptable. And when we were down a camera for a while, I was really depressed and down and out, and Bob said, there's a package coming your way, and when I opened it up, I lost it. I was so excited. He's always really been there for me, and he's always been one of my best friends. So, Bob, thank you so much for everything. And of course, I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for checking out this episode. If you guys are loving the content that I'm creating as much as I love creating the content that you guys are watching, would you please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and then hit the little bell icon because it'll let you know every time I put out a new video. Don't forget to make somebody smile today and make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were today, tomorrow. Let's make the world spin a little bit happier and a little bit more BBier together. Let's sing and dance in the sun and in the rain as one, my brothers and sisters. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it, because you just never know when that last moment's going to come for you. However, never live in fear of that moment. Always live in love and never let your inner child die. Oh, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another and take care of those around you who cannot take care of themselves, for they are the ones that need it the most. And if no one has told you today that they love you, the Vodkast loves you very much, just the way you are. All right, guys, do no harm. I'm Jason Oliveira. This is the Vodkast, and I'll catch you guys a little bit further on down the road. Take care, my friends.
Don't go to sleep with a catch it in your pocket.